Everyone. This is the session on research in Germany, and this is conducted by NGSF. It is a platform where you can receive guidance to pursue a career in life sciences, and we also promote science communication. We have events such as internship program where we fund your internship. It is right now open, and it's closing on March 31st. Coming back to the session, today we have three panelists with us, Mr. Maithreyan Kuppuswamy, Ms. Karishma Kumari, and Mr. Prasad Balaji. If you have any queries regarding pursuing your studies and research in Germany, you can ask them directly. All you have to do is raise your hand and we'll invite you on stage. And now I request the panelists to introduce themselves.
Hello everyone, my name is Maithreyan. I just finished my PhD, still writing my thesis, but I have started as a postdoc at German Cancer Research Center in Heidelberg. So, yeah.
Hi, can you hear me now clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I am Prasad and I am working as a PhD student in Helmholtz Center Munich. So, my research focus is mainly on plant and fungal interaction, and I am basically a plant scientist. Thank you.
Karishma, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was just stuck in this. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Karishma. I started my PhD in 2019 at the Technical University of Munich, and now I'm currently I shifted from Munich to Potsdam, and now continuing my PhD at the Max Planck Institute of Molecular Plant Physiology. And I would like to thanks NGSF for giving me a chance to give you a valuable insight, whatever you need. So I'm happy to help you guys.
Thank you. So the first question is, what was the reason you guys chose to pursue research in Germany? Why Germany, basically?
First, so Germany has a well-established research infrastructure. It has a many renowned, well-known university. Let's say I was in the TUM, and now in the Max Planck, which is again a very reputed government institute, and it has like a very globally recognized for their research, for their excellence in research. So I thought, okay, then go for a Germany to pursue my PhD.
Yeah, and in addition, in my case, I was looking for master studies in Germany, since Germany has a no tuition curriculum. And also, after my master's, when I got into my PhD, I got several benefits. In addition to very well established research, I also got a very nice, like very good. I would say very good. Very good benefits regarding social security and also my visa.
So for me, I did not have exposure to Germany that much, but I was able to come to Germany through DAAD scholarship for my master's thesis, and I was able to see how things are done here with respect to the availability of resources, and how the labs worked, and how independent you are able to work. And with things like that, I really liked Germany during my when I was doing my master's thesis. So I decided to stay here to pursue my PhD.
Okay. So, how did you search universities to apply? What was the documents required? And are the consultancies really necessary, or can you apply them by yourself?
So for me, I did not go through the traditional way, I would say. So when I came here for my master's thesis, I already got exposure to some labs, and I applied through to those labs directly by mailing the head of the lab through internally. So I got invited for an interview. I gave a presentation, and that's how I got selected. I wouldn't. I don't think you need to go through consultancies. There are so it's Germany is catching up now that they have application. How to say this? Events or every semester there is as time period where you can apply to different universities or research centers. You just have to look out for them and apply.
Yeah, I would also suggest not to look for consultancies since most of the universities in Germany are government institutes. They don't really have this kind of well established tie ups with the consultancies in India. So basically, what the consultancies do is they just process our application and read back our SOPs, which we can, like, when we have a network like NGSF, we too can help to read your SOPs and help you in applying for courses. But other than that, they don't, consultancies don't really offer any benefit, especially when applying to Germany.
Yeah, I would also suggest no to go consultancy because first of all they charge a lot of money, and along with this, you can go to the career seminars. As when I started looking for a PhD in Germany, so I just came from somewhere in maybe Facebook or some social site that the DRD scholarship has a career fair seminar where it will give like a lot of insight how to apply for a PhD, what are the different scholarship, and so yeah, so I applied for a PhD through this DART seminar, and along the DART there's like a lot of career fair online. You can join that as well. And in my case, I just applied for a DART scholarship, and before applying to the DART scholarship, I wrote a professor I wrote a mail to the professor that I'm interested in doing PhD and I can apply for a scholarship if she and he doesn't have a fund of anything to support me during my PhD. So for that, I just wrote a project with my professor and gave a lot of documents like CV, SOP, why I'm interested in in her lab, and yeah. So it's better to go maybe scholarship or like personally write a mail to a professor with all your documents. Let's say it's all the transcript and CVs, SOP, motivational letter, and all this. So it will help you a lot.
Okay, thank you. What?
A note on writing emails directly to the professors. Unfortunately, not all your mails will be read. You have to be lucky because they receive hundreds and hundreds of mails all the time. So be concise and just try to catch their attention through the mails. That's all we can do.
Regarding that, how do you write? What are the conditions for a good email that professors can read or that catch their attention?
Well, in my case, I went through internal channels, so they were able to just receive the internal mails easily. But I unfortunately I don't have any recommendations. Maybe Karishma or Prasad has some.
So from my experience, I would say writing from the institutional email rather than personal email helped me a lot, because I was simultaneously trying with both my personal mail ID and also with my institutional mail ID, and I got more replies to my institutional mail ID. And I would say the mail should be short and at the same time precise, like not just inquiring, hey, do you have an opening for a PhD in your lab? Just telling them that I'm interested in what the professor is actually working on and what are his latest inventions or discoveries, the latest papers from his lab, citing some of them, and asking the professor, hey, shall I proceed in this way? It could be either right or wrong, but you may tell them that I would wish to proceed in this way, which would make an initial like good image about you to the professor.
Yeah, I'd also like to add some what Prasad said. Important thing is you can also follow on Twitter because most of the professors and the research, whatever they are doing, they keep posted on the Twitter. So if you really want to do or if you really want to go in their lab, just follow on Twitter, like their work, cite their paper, as Prasad mentioned just now, and just write a very concise mail. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing this work, and I'm interested in their work. I read your paper. This is what I wrote in my cover letter, and the professor from Technical University, she just liked my CV very cover letter very much, and she just had me an invitation for the interview. So I would say just write it very concise why you are interested, read their papers and follow on Twitter. That's yeah. So it will help you a lot again.
Thank you. For the people who have recently joined, you can raise your hands to ask a query. We will invite you on stage. And there are some questions in the message box. One is, does scheduling mail time play a role in opening our mail? Mr. Maithreyan, you can answer that maybe.
I have no experience, so unfortunately, but I guess if I think about it, if you send it during the daytime in Germany, there is a bit more possibility for them to see the mails. I guess, yeah, maybe you can try that, but I have no experience, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would say. Sorry. Yeah, Prasad, you can go.
Karishma, you can continue. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my important suggestion is to not write on the weekends because German people never check their mails during the weekend. Or it's a good for you as well that you are self managing yourself or you are managing your time very well. So it's important to put the time. But it's good if you like maybe do on Monday to Thursday because they are like more efficient during these days. And Friday, it's they generally don't even reply or send any mails.
I think it's also important to check whether you have whether the university where the professor is from has selection time period or something, application time period where they select people already in bulk, rather than going through the professors directly. So it really depends on which institutes you're applying to. So for example, now where I work from, DCABSET, they have an application timeline where you have to apply between within 15th of May every year. So for such institutions, you have to go through these recruitment systems. So you really have to look into these things, whether there are already recruitment systems in place, or you can directly mail them and contact them to ask for if they have a position.
Okay. Mr. Prasad, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would say also not mailing them in the midnight because sometimes the mail just goes down and down, and maybe when they open their inbox in the morning, your mail is already like in the previous day, so it ends up like they ignore it because they have some other works added up on the top of their mailbox, so it usually ends up in spam. So I would also avoid mailing them in the midnight.
Okay, thank you. Another question from the messages is, what are the things they look for in a CV?
I would say so. There are templates available for German style CVs. Um, make it concise, and basically you have to put what experience you have had so far. Um, yeah, I would say follow some kind of German style CV template, and that should already help, in my opinion.
Karishma, you have.
Yeah. So in my point of view, it will be really nice. Like if you are applying in your like favorite lab or your dream lab, it's important to highlight all the skills because it will increase the chance of the professor that they will hire you. As well as if you have a like a paper, maybe one or two is okay. If you don't have any paper, it's okay because they don't even expect that much from a master student that if they are applying for a PhD that they should have so many papers as well. And it may add additional point if you have some collaborations like or you have a very good skill profile or you know very well much like maybe if you want to do in a life science maybe the golden gate will be like really popular skill because everyone is using golden gate and LCMS and mass spectrometry, let's say. So it would be nice if you like majorly focus on your skills.
Yeah, I would say not to be like too big and too elaborate. Maybe to keep your CV restricted to 2 pages or 1.5 would be already so good, and not to just to highlight the points. Not to elaborate it like I did gel electrophoresis on DNA. Those things I see in some CVs. Some students write like 7-8 pages of CV, which is really too much for the professor to grasp. So highlighting the main points and restricting in 2 pages would be already look like a very good CV.
We have an audience member with us. You can unmute and ask your question, Manasa. Manasa, are you there? Okay. So, are there any websites to check what German universities are good for what programs or anything like that?
Every university has their web pages. If you, let's say, go to the LMU, Max Planck, or Technical University, Heidelberg University, they always have a different panel on their website which mention each and everything like about the careers and the PhD programs, when is the deadline, how can you apply, like they have internal scholarships also along with this. As I mentioned earlier, so they also have a DART scholarship which has a deadline this year, I think maybe in September or October. So yeah.
Yeah, there are some portals which also will tell you which top universities are there. I just posted one in the chat. Yeah, you can look at them. Even DARD has a portal where they advertise for PhD positions available. So you can look at all those sites. I can post some in the chat.
Yeah, and also sometimes you have specialized website for a specific subject. Say for example, if I intend to work on plant science, I would go and look into Deutsche Botanik Gesellschaft, which is like DBG, where they post all the PhD positions which are coming out of plant sciences. I'm not sure about other subject areas, but for plant science, DBG would be really good, like website to look for PhD positions.
Okay. So how do you draft a good SOP? What are the requirements for a good SOP, and should it be extremely professional or personal, or how should it be basically?
So for a good SOP, I would say also again to be short, not to repeat the things which were like not to exactly repeat the things which were already in the CV, but to give a more information about what are your work experiences and what you know, what can you like. It's a win-win situation. So you can tell the professor what are the skill set you can bring to the lab and what you can learn from the lab. And I would say in SOP not to be like I know everything, I can do everything. Maybe sometimes highlight the things which you are not sure of and which you are willing to learn, which might give a very sometime impression on you. And maybe the others can add few more points.
Yeah, keeping it short would be good, and you shouldn't always just. When I think about it, I would say also write about some challenges that you faced in the lab and how you sorted them out in terms of your research. Maybe not long, 2-3 lines. That would also be able to show how your problem solving skills maybe.
Yeah, and I would say that SOP really takes a lot of time. So it's not a like one day you will think, okay, you will write everything in a one day. So it's a time taking process. Just take your time, read and revise, and make a very concise. And it's important that you are simply stating that you are passionate about the field. You just provide some example and your research project, your internship, your relevant coursework, and demonstrate and also demonstrate like how you are fit to that program. And it would be also important that you will be really honest or like a very authentic, and never forget to like revise and add it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Manasa was unfortunate. Yeah.
sorry. So I would also like to add one more point, like not to use the same SOP for all the positions. Maybe try to tailor it a little bit. Like we cannot write a new SOP for everything, but maybe we can try to tailor it a bit so that it fits the position which we are applying to. So say for example, if you are working on plants and fungi and we are applying for a fungal and give a little insight about plants would help.
Manasa was unfortunately unable to unmute her mic. She is asking which month is the right time to start applying for masters in Germany.
So most of the English speaking masters in Germany, they usually start in winter semester. So I would say start applying from the application usually starts from Jan till May of the same year. So it would be good to apply in these periods.
Okay. So, are there any challenges that you guys faced while applying? Any key points to keep in mind while applying?
For me, it is important to keep all the deadlines and when is like all the positions are opening, and it affects your application a lot. Like let's say if you miss a one application with in which you want to apply in your favorite lab or a dream lab, then it will really miss your chance, and then you have to wait way longer to apply in that lab again. And along with this, I would say just ready with your all the things and keep tracking all the. And now the internet, the social media is so relevant now this time. So follow them on Twitter, follow them on LinkedIn, whatever wherever they are, and read their papers. And yeah, just it will be really helpful for you guys if you will follow them on Twitter as well.
Another question from the messages is sorry, yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I would also say not to wait until the deadline of the application, because sometimes some professors would have like already got the funding and would be waiting to start the project as soon as possible. So they already start assessing the applications. So I would say if you come across a position and you know that you are well fit and you have all the documents, apply it immediately. Don't wait until like the end of the deadline or until the last day. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Maithreyan, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. So someone is asking, do you need IELTS to apply in Germany?
No, they don't ask for the IELTS, but some of the university, when you are applying for your masters, they ask for the TOEFL exam. So I have seen one cases where one of my distant relative wanted to apply in the University of Berlin for like management or business something, and the university did not give him admission because he didn't had a TOEFL exam. So just when you just start applying, just check the requirement what they are asking, and it's not not the IELTS, but yes, they ask generally TOEFL exam.
Okay. One more question is, some universities ask for an SOP and a personal statement separately. How to distinguish between the same and work on it? Mr. Prasad, maybe you can answer.
So, in my experience in German universities, I don't have experienced such two different statements. I don't think either Karishma or Prasad has experience with such things.
No, I don't have like I universities usually ask for a statement of purpose, and personal statement is the one which you usually give for visa people, that you have enough money and what is your intention of traveling to Germany. But I don't have any experience where a university is asking for both personal statement and state SOP.
Okay. A reminder for people who come new, you can raise your hand to directly ask questions to the panelists. And what level of previous research experience is needed to successfully enter a German university? What do they look for, like your grades or your research, whatever you've done, or what is it exactly?
So, from my experience of looking for PhD students, obviously you will not know everything that you need to do in the PhD work, but either on the biology side or on the technology side, if you have some experience, that would be better. So you either have worked with or done a bit of work on whatever biology you want to work on, be strong on that, irrespective of which techniques you want they do. Or you say that, okay, I have learned know this technique, and I would like to go on to apply this technique to this biology, irrespective of the biology. Yeah, you should be having either of those would be an advantage.
Yeah, also important thing is
In
that
my experience, yeah, Karishma, you can speak.
no, Prasad, you go ahead.
Okay. So in my interview, it was mostly like for the first rounds, they tested how good we were in subject matter, and most of the questions were regarding her subject and what do you do in such a critical situation or something like that. And towards the end of the interview, it was more of personal questions and how on our critical thinking and how we fit to the lab. So I think it varies from lab to lab, but mostly they look on what you know and what you can bring to the lab and how well you fit in their working environment.
Miss Karishma, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it would be really nice, like if you have a good presentation skills or maybe conversation skills are really good, which you can communicate, which is important to start a lab in Germany or to start communicate with your professor. And along with this, if you're applying in your lab, then you should have a similar interest or you should have done similar experiments or skills or maybe technique, I would say. And the reference letter which you get from your previous professor is also very good and make a good impact on your research career as well.
I have one more thing. So when you have in the advanced two primary screenings, and you have now talking to the professor about whether you want to accept the position or not, they generally recommend you to talk to the lab members. So try to make a good impression in the sense, don't just talk about biology or things. Try to ask about how the lab is, how you should let them know that you are willing to work with them, as well as what you expect from the professor, what you expect from the lab. That would help make a good impression on the colleagues, because sometimes the input of the colleagues also make an factor for the professor will consider these inputs also to make a choice. So I would also recommend, but this is only during the advanced process where you have already gone through the primary selection process.
Okay. Anaga, you have a question? You can unmute yourself.
I was wondering if the labs that any of you is working in currently have openings for a master's thesis.
At my lab, unfortunately, no. Sorry.
Yeah, not in my lab too. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. But if you will apply to your like some labs in the Germany, they always seeking for the person who are willing to do masters and bachelor's thesis. So you can directly contact them.
Yeah, but it also depends on what you want to work on, right? So my lab is a mass spectrometry lab, so yeah.
Okay. So you said about the criteria for PhD. What are the criteria they look for applying to masters?
So for masters, they should have clearly described everything what you need in the like program website. And this year, I knew from some of my juniors that they have introduced a new system for Indian students, especially, which is called APS. Like you have to get all your certificates certified from the German embassy before you even apply for the course. So you will basically have two steps of screening, one within India, and once you have all your certificates like attested from the embassy, then only then you can apply for a course. So I think it's better to look in the program website and have all the things they have listed there. And fortunately for this winter semester, they have given relaxation that you can also apply without APS, but from next summer, you need this certificate to apply for a course. So basically, you need everything whichever they listed in their program website. Thank you.
Any others want to add anything? Okay. Is taking a break any hindrance to applying for masters or PhD?
it shouldn't be. I did not take any, but from my colleagues, like German colleagues, they usually take some break and they are always they get the job after that. So
Yeah, but if you are able to justify what you have done in your break, then I think it should not be a problem. But sometimes I know few people who got rejections, not in the subject, but from the visa people, that they have unjustified break in their career. So when you can justify, then it should not be a problem.
Miss Karishma, you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. So, what is the visa process or requirement for Germany? Was it difficult?
Um, so the timeline really depends on which city you apply from, because some cities there are more availability. So for example, in Kolkata, I could get it in within a week, the visa, but in Chennai you have to wait for some months to get an appointment. So, and from what I heard, they have now shifted everything through the VFS system. Not you don't need to go through the consulates directly nowadays. So, yeah, maybe Prasad or Karishma know more about it.
Yeah, as Maiti said, it's that you go to VFS now in Chennai and also in some other embassies, but they also have very long waiting time. So it's better to start applying for the visa when you immediately after you get your admission letter.
Yeah, I would emphasize also the same thing that whenever you are applying, please apply in advance and always check the timings, because they always open the slot every day. If you are like getting maybe 1 or 2 months after, just check the slots every day, and then you will get a like a recent date. And the visa application, it's not that hard. I would say just go to the website of German embassy, and they have already given the long list of the all the checklist, which document you require, and the photos as well, like everything they have mentioned on the website. Just go through that and be particular about the dates, and which is very important, I would say. And in my case, I applied through the DART scholarship. So sometime for my in my case, they even did not ask they did not call me for the interview. They just called me for submitting my documents, and it took maybe 1 hour probably. And after 2-3 days, I got my visa directly. So I would just suggest prepare all your documents, and yeah.
Okay, thank you. How important is academic record while applying? Will an average academic record affect the application?
So for PhD, it depends on the professor and how he like considers your academic record, but academic record really has a very high impact. But for masters, if you have some backlogs, then I think it's a it's a little bit difficult compared to when you have very great academic records. But having an average academic record should basically work, because the programs usually give you a like the minimum requirement for applying for the course, and then you should basically like if it also depends on the competition and the weightage of your SOP and your experience, but yeah, the academic record also plays is important to some level.
Yeah, if you are talking about the high school, secondary, and bachelor's, it doesn't matter. But if you are in a master's, it really matter a lot, because I have seen some cases if you does not meet certain criteria for the university admission, let's say TOEM, so professor won't give you admission. So it's important to have a good grade as well, or just that grade in which you can clear your all the documents that you are eligible to get admission in PhD. So it's very important.
Mr. Maithreyan, you wanted to say something?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So how is the stipend for research? Is it sufficient, or do you guys need an extra job, or?
You do not need an extra job. You're not allowed to do an extra job. But the stipend will be enough. You might be able to save some, but yeah, considering other jobs, like it is usually 50% to 60% of the standard work contract if you go through a direct employment by the professor. If you go through DARD, it's usually some set amount of money, but that should be enough. But that's you. Yeah, it really depends. You may not be able to save so much, but you can live comfortably with it.
Yeah, I would like to add what Mati said. So it's depend. Like if you are directly hired by a professor, then generally the PhD salary is really good. And if you are selected by some scholarship, so I got my scholarship from that, then it was little less. But along with this, you get a lot of benefit. That means you don't have to pay for your health insurance. Plus, if your house rent is higher than the 600 euros, then DAD also give you the subsidy. So it's more than enough. And along with this, there is some government institute like Max Planck Institute or Helmholtz. So they also support in scholarship institute by giving them some extra money. So it is not difficult to get like survive in Germany. It's easy, so you can like save a lot of money. I've already saved quite some money, so I'm telling you with from my experience. So it's easy.
So Prasad, do you have anything to add?
No, Karishma and Maithreyan, I think they already gave a very good overview of the scholarship, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, okay. So regarding scholarships that you said, what are other scholarship opportunities available? Miss Karishma?
Yeah, for like I've heard, most of the cases for the masters, you will get DART scholarship. And some university also have their internal scholarship. You can also check on their website. And for the postdocs, I have heard about the Alexander Humboldt, which is very good, and I've be in touch with so many postdoc which got scholarship to study in Germany. They got Alexander Humboldt. So far, I'm touch with the DART scholarship and Alexander Humboldt, so I can give you more advice on this. Other than that, I think you just check the website or of the university, and they have an internal scholarship, I would say.
Yeah, in addition, there are also some private institutes like private companies like DMV, which can also support you in your PhD. But before that, you have to speak with your professor, and then you both together write a proposal and submit it to them. It's a long process, but I think you will get quite good amount of money from that. And also there is a scholarship option from India where they pay around, I think, $2,000 per month, and all that you need is you have to get a provisional admission from a professor in from Germany or some other country in a very highly ranked university, and you can apply for this scholarship from India. But I think this scholarship is very limited. Like every year they offer around 30 to 40 scholarships. But your PhD will be basically funded by Indian government, and you will do your research work here.
Okay. So how what are the job opportunities after masters other than PhD there?
So in my field, there are a lot of job opportunities after finishing your masters. There are a lot of startup companies. So I'm talking about proteomics and protein technology field, let's say. And in terms of what kind of jobs it would be, so it could be it would be mostly related to working in the lab. So they are probably a service providers for big companies providing analytic services for proteins or production services. So you can get such jobs. So many positions are available all the time. There are so many companies. So yeah, in my field, you can go to such kind of jobs.
Yeah, it's the same in my field too. You can either get into industry or when you say after finishing masters, it would be mostly like working in marketing or service providing, as Maithri said. So it's the same in my field too.
Yeah, I've also come across like after masters, if you are doing your masters in bioinformatics or sustainable agriculture, they have a wide scope in Germany. And I've been touched in so many students who did their masters and they got the superb job and they are like having a wonderful life here. So it's not that the life science have like you need to have to do a PhD after your MSc. Here they have a wide scope of industries and people can the MSc student also have a collaborative work with the industry. So if you have a good collaboration with industry after your masters, you can just go to the industry and then you don't have to go for your PhD program or PhD research in Germany.
If you want to know what kind of jobs, you can always look at portals like LinkedIn or Glassdoor. You just type in your field and the country that you want to look in, and it will list all the jobs that are available, and you can get an idea of what kind of jobs that are available.
Okay, thank you. Is masters abroad, especially in Germany, an advantage for doing PhD there, or will the applications from India will also be considered?
Applications from India will also be considered. It's not like, but there is an advantage to working in or doing your masters in Germany because you get in direct contact with the labs already during your masters. Then it becomes easier. You know, uh, if you're sending a mail through, say, a German university mail ID than an Indian university, there is again a chance for them to look into this more readily than the other one. So there are certain advantages, but it's not like they wouldn't say that, oh, you're from India and I will not look into that. For example, in my experience, we were looking for a PhD position. We had a PhD position available, and there was one Indian student. We were interested in them, but unfortunately, the timings did not work out. So that's also a thing that if you are in Germany already, and if they really want a person already their funding is already available and they want to start it as soon as possible, the advantage is that will be for people that is nearby, right? So even without that, we couldn't hire the Indian person, but we could. My professor was interested in them, so they tried to apply for a joint funding from DAAD. So such things can also happen. So if they are really interested in you, they can help you to apply for some scholarships as well.
I would like to add to what Maithri said, that even if you're applying from India, you have some of the advantages which like the students in Germany don't have. Like for example, if you wish to apply for DAD or a Marie Curie scholarship in Germany, then the students who are already in Germany, they are not like allowed to apply for them. So it's exclusively for students who are out of Germany. But in that case, also people from the whole world will be competing for those things. But it also like gives the advantage that the people don't select the people who they already know for their doctoral thesis. So it will also give an advantage for the students from India.
You have anything to add?
No, thank you.
Okay. And how easy is it to build a network there after going from India? And how are people there? I hope there's no discrimination and stuff.
So I would say language is a very big barrier in Germany. If you know the language, so it will make your life very easier. And if you don't know the language, please learn the language. It's not that, yeah. And it takes a lot of time to make a connection here. Like I started my LinkedIn profile and I'm starting building up since last year, and still I don't know a lot of people here. Let's say I want to apply in an industrial job after my after my PhD, and it is still taking me so much time. I have to improve my LinkedIn profile constantly, and it's not a one day work. So I'm building up my profile day by day and learning new things through my friends, through my colleagues, how to improve my LinkedIn profile to get into the job, how to send connections to the people, how to organize a meeting where I can meet a new people. So it takes a really long time. It's just not a one day or like a weekend work. You have to be consistent while making a connection.
Discrimination wise, I mean, you will not face it blatantly, but sometimes there are people who might be against discriminating you. So it will be there, unfortunately, but you don't need to be afraid that it's there everywhere. The networking wise, professional networkings, you can obviously, there are professors will generally send you to conferences and events. They will not say no to such things, so you can always ask them, but they always will recommend you to go to some such events. So professional networking you can do through those events, as well as through pages like LinkedIn and Twitter. And personally, obviously it will be a bit difficult to make German friends. You may tend to, if you are in a university, you will tend to stick with the Indian group, but it's really up to you how you want to build your personal networks there. But it will be difficult a little, definitely. And again, with respect to language, it depends on where you live. If you live in a bigger city, it's a bit more easier to deal with people in English. But then if you are in a smaller and smaller place, it's better if you start learning at least a little bit of German to communicate. So you know in a shop or just outside in the bus. So yeah, you don't need to learn full German, but just bare enough German to communicate for small things would already be good enough.
Prasad, would you like to add anything?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I am winding up the session. Thank you, audience, for being patient and asking questions. And thank you, panelists, for answering all questions eloquently. I hope my questions were appropriate and valuable for your, upper studies and career in Germany. Thank you, everyone. See you soon in another session.